There is another project in BUS 317, Project 8. Project 8 starts out very similar to what you just completed in the first project. You're going to prepare an executive review of the company and the industry. You're going to need at least, I would think, at least one slide per area. The slides, of course, are going to contain bullet points for discussion. Your analysis and speaking points are going to be typed in the notes section of the PowerPoint. You'll have, the first thing you'll do is give me a summary of the industry and the company that you've chosen. Again, be sure to talk about the industry and that company. Again, this is the primary company you had from Project 3 that we just talked about earlier in this video. You're then going to do the same thing for 3 slides. You're going to present liquidity, solvency, profitability. I would put the same tables that you used in Project 3, put the same tables here, and then again, give me a synopsis, a summary of what you think this information tells you about this company. The next slide you'll talk about, you need to discuss the importance of the budgeting process in the chosen company. Again, relative to these ratios, what will these ratios do in helping you create budgets for operations in the company? The 7th line here really, I think, is going to take 2 slides. You need to provide a variance report and a balanced scorecard for the chosen company, comparative against the competitor company and the industry averages. So the variance report should contain the ratios that you've described in the earlier slides in a variance report, which shows differences and whether or not those variances, that's the differences, are favorable or unfavorable with respect to your company. The balanced scorecard is a little bit more complicated, right? Your text talks about different sections. There are 4 sections, and you need to find or discuss items within those sections that the company could use as a metric to determine whether or not they are meeting or working well in those areas. Again, when you get to the final, it's the next to last week of the course, week 7, that's where they'll talk about this balanced scorecard, and it will become a little bit more apparent. The next slide then is you need to identify which ratios impact capital budgeting decisions. This is not the same as budgeting. Budgeting is about operations. Capital budgeting is about investing in plant and equipment. So which ratios are going to impact cash flows, profitability, etc., and this capital budgeting decision. Finally, obviously, you're going to have a slide that talks about, is a concluding summary, talks about the company you've chosen, and your overall opinion of its prospects. Prospects as an investment, prospects as a future company. And then finally, don't forget, you need to have your citations identified in the bibliography. Now, I haven't said this earlier. Hopefully it makes some sense. But if you're using information from these bibliography sources, they have to be identified in the slides as well. So don't forget to properly cite your work and provide the bibliography at the end. This project, Project 8, is a PowerPoint slide. The first project for 3 is a Word document. Please make sure you spell check and grammar check your documents. It's very important. And of course, GCU also requires you to run this through Lopes Write to check for similarity, and it also will help you a little bit looking at where these similarity issues come from. What I would suggest you do, though, also, if you're using a Word document, which most folks will use Word, if you're using Word, make sure you have a grammar check, right? So I have download. I have a professional version of Grammarly, but there's a free version that connects to Word. And when you open that, it will help you understand where you have spelling errors and where you have grammar types of errors. So I don't think anything will happen if I click this, but what you'll see eventually has checks up here. It will tell you what your, I don't want to call them mistakes are or errors, but this is the one I look for. I look for correctness. This tells me if you have any spelling or grammar errors. If you properly edit your paper, you will see a 0 where this check mark is. Clarity, engagement, these are more subjective measures of how your paper is written. So I'm not so concerned about those. I'm concerned about spelling and grammar. So again, that's the end of this project. If you need assistance getting Grammarly loaded into your Word documents or into onto your computer, let me know. I guess I could create a video that would tell you how to do that. It won't take very long. It'll be about 2 minutes, but I can create a video that would tell you how to do that. But you can go to, let me just go back to where we were here, right? Make sure my address is in here, right here, right? You just go to Grammarly.com, and you can get Grammarly for free, right? So it says it has a free writing assistant. If you click on this, get started. It's free. I mean, you can't get much easier. Put your email and sign up. Of course, I'm already in, so I can't do this again, but this will help you. I'm telling you, this will help you so much with your writing skills. It just as a personal, it drives me crazy when students don't spell check their papers. It's a very simple process. Even in Word, you can do spell check, right? Word has a review. You can click on proofing, right? Click on the editor, and it will get, again, this one says, oh, I have to turn, okay, I have to set it up in this Word, but when you click on this and you say, it will go through and it will check your paper. It will have things underlined. Anything underlined in red is a spelling error. Sometimes it's not really a spelling error. It's just the way you use the word. It doesn't look right. So you can always turn it off and say, no, I accept that. That's what I wanted it to say. Likewise, if things are blue, those could be grammar errors. Again, it will give you in here on the side, it will tell you what those suggestions are. I mean, I've even had in Grammarly, sometimes they'll say, you know, that sentence really is difficult to understand. Try this one, and they'll rewrite the sentence for you, right? So it's a great way to see how you're writing and to make corrections. I didn't mean to get off on a soapbox there, but so that's the end of this video on how to do the projects for this course. Look forward to seeing you again. Take care.